So Tiffany Stratton is your new WWE Women's Champion. Now, I wasn't expecting Tiffany to cash in on Nia Jax, not until probably until after WrestleMania at the very least. This was a very well done, well put together Money in the Bank cash in. And it made Tiffany Stratton look like an opportunist. She first took out Nia Jax from behind with the briefcase. I mean, she helped Nia first win the match, helping beating Naomi, which was surprisingly a good match between both ladies. And Tiffany Stratton, she nailed Candice LeRae with the briefcase. She then got out the ring and then allowed Bianca Belair to hit her KOD finisher on Nia Jax. Then she smartly took Bianca Belair out the equation. And then she went to the referee that she earlier knocked down and gave him the briefcase, cashed it in, hit the prettiest moonsault, and then 1, 2, 3, and new women's champion. Now, I'm just going to go back to when Tiffany Stratton first debuted, her character, right? I know a lot of people thought that the idea of her character was a dumb blonde, right? A very ditzy, silly, stupid blonde that had no common sense. Well, yeah, for someone that seems to be a ditzy, silly, stupid blonde, she knew what the hell she was doing when she was cashing in that Money in the Bank because the way she went about it was very smart. It made her character look like a genius, okay, like a master strategist and opportunist. So much for being the dumb blonde that doesn't know what she's doing because clearly she knew what she was doing with this cash in. And this continues the trend of successful Money in the Bank cash ins when it comes to the females. Now, WWE should definitely do Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton for the women's title at WrestleMania. The best match you can do for that title is Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. That match makes the most sense because of the similarities between Stratton and Flair. They're both naturally athletic, former gymnasts. They picked up the business rather quickly. Okay. They both have always had the same ceiling. And a lot of people are always going to compare Tiffany Stratton to Charlotte Flair, right? And there really isn't an answer, a clear answer on who is more athletic, Charlotte or Tiffany, because we haven't seen both of them in the ring together. So I think to me, that's like the equivalent of doing Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, right? For WrestleMania 19. That was a match a lot of people wanted to see when both men were on the same brand. And it's the same thing with Tiffany and Charlotte. Once Tiffany Stratton debuted, a lot of people wanted to see her and Charlotte Flair in the same ring. That's always been one of the more talked about female matchups to do for WrestleMania. Some will say Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill. I think Tiffany and Charlotte would put on a way better match because Tiffany Stratton a little bit green. You know, she's still kind of new, but Charlotte has more experience, and at this point, she's a veteran. And when Charlotte was out for injury and Tiffany came up to the main roster, it was only a matter of time until people were going to start talking about, you know, them doing that match. Once Charlotte got back and she's healed up, and pretty much she's already healed up. She's ready to come back. And so she should be coming back pretty soon. Now, I don't expect her to win the Women's Rumble. I don't think she deserves to win it twice. I think the way she gets to Tiffany Stratton for WrestleMania is by winning the Elimination Chamber. And in the meantime, though, I predict that they're going to do a fatal four-way for the women's belts. Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax versus Bianca Belair versus Naomi. The reason why I include Naomi is because Naomi got screwed out of the title once again. Right? Tiffany cost her the belt. Bianca laid out Nia Jax. Nia Jax is a former champion, so it makes sense to do a four-way at the Rumble. But I really liked how the WWE booked this whole cash-in. And so, you pretty much turn the entire tables around in the women's division in just one match, one night. So I think that was a great way to start off the new year by now establishing Tiffany Stratton as the face of the SmackDown women's division. And I think it's going to be that way for a good while, right? Because let's be honest, as much as Nia Jax has improved in the ring, no one wants to see her and Charlotte have a match. Let's just be honest. The whole match to do the entire time and what people really want to see is Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. That's your big money match. And if it were possible, it would main event a night one of WrestleMania, which is not going to happen. But that's your best women's match to do at Mania for the women's belt. As much as Nia Jax has improved, I don't think she's big enough as a star to do a women's title match at WrestleMania. And if that was the case, it would be against Charlotte Flair, of course, and Charlotte was probably going to always be the one to end Nia's reign. If not, it was going to be Tiffany Stratton. But now I'm glad that they did the cash in, and that sets up a Mania match with Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair.